It's Dr. Karthik Ram. Welcome to my podcast. I'm a board certified plastic surgeon and educationalist based out of Chennai. I'm really honored that you have taken your time and given me your gift of your attention. Hope you are going to love this session. Please follow me in my Instagram handle for more updates. My Insta handle is Ram Dr. Karthik, RAMDRKARTHIK. Enjoy today's podcast. Hi friends, one more episode today. Our plastic surgeon diary. This is episode 4. Okay, a lot of interesting cases last 2 weeks also, and Doctor Joyce is going to join today for our plastic surgeons live. We'll wait for Dr. Joyce to join, and to start with, we have the idea of the plastic surgeon diary is whatever happens in the last few weeks, we'll consolidate an interesting cases and something, like some message comes from each patient, so we present it here. So two advantage of giving this plastic surgeon diary, one is even when we sit back and after 15 years or 20 years when we retire, when we recapping our own practice. Shall we start? We don't want to waste the time. We'll finish the.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Yes, Joyce, you start. What is the first case of our discussion today? And give us a disclaimer also every time before, even if I forget, no? Yeah.
So we're discussing a lot about our patients, but their identity is masked so that we don't violate their privacy. It's been a long break since we did this plastic surgeon's diary, and we've come again with a lot of interesting patient scenarios. So to start off, we know that everybody's been affected with COVID, but one of our patients was badly affected with his entire family. So I think Dr. Karthik knows the history of that patient very well. You remember Dr. Karthik?
Yeah, very well. Actually, first time when he came for a consultation, I was really upset to hear the story. Both the mother and father got admitted because of the COVID in the ICU, and went almost to the deathbed, and then they kind of escaped from COVID, and they are discharged recently. And grandmother died because of COVID. This boy and his sister both got the COVID, can't manage at home, so they also got admitted in the hospital. I think almost like they're all middle class families. They almost lost 15 lakhs rupees just for the COVID alone. Think about it. It's a huge money for anybody. And that guy has a gynecomastia problem, so he came here. And other thing is, parents becomes very much worried about the boy because 30 plus. They want to see him get married, so urgently they fix the marriage, and he come before the marriage for the gynecomastia correction. When we hear the story, I really felt bad, and we give a very good concession to him so that I do understand that he has a marriage burden also, the expenditures for the marriage. So we gave a good concession, and guy wrote a very beautiful review and sent to me my mobile and said that very thank you, Dr. Karthik, and you helped me a lot in various ways. And so the advice from our side is COVID is not over. Please follow all the precautions. And one of your family members or you go through that stage, you realize the issue. But we don't want any of our people to go through those kind of phases. So better to be careful. Dr. Joyce, next case.
It's
What is the interesting case we have?
The next one is you've had interesting followers, but this is one patient who's been following you since the last 8 years. So she's someone
Yeah.
who wanted a small breast and wanted a correction, and she's never had the guts to come up, but she's been following your work and seeing you progress. So I think you consulted her in OPD, and that's when she. Would you want to elaborate, Dr.
See,
Karthik,
this
about this?
patient, yeah, Joyce, you were not there. Actually, when we discharged her, when she came for the breast augmentation surgeries after the implant, she came for the discharge, and she had a word with me, Doctor. You don't know that I am following you for the last 8 years. Even when you come in JRTV interviews, that time onwards, I used to watch your interviews, and from that time onwards, I want to come for this procedure. but I don't have a guts. And I also, that time only the cosmetic surgery, we all come to know about the cosmetic surgery when you're talking in the TV only. That only emerging that time only. So I don't want to come for the surgery that time. It took almost 8 years for her to get the trust and come for a surgery. That's how it is. Cosmetic surgeries are very, very private surgeries. So it's very, people can't come and select a surgeon like that. She used to say, Doctor, whatever you speak, I listen to your program. Even if you understand or not, I sit and watch your program because I don't want to miss your program. We have a lot of fans also like this. But the main factor here is the trust. It takes a lot of time for a patient to get the trust from the surgeon. So you should not push the patient for a surgery immediately till the trust comes. That's what very important here.
So it took her 8 years to build the trust, but it was completely worth it because she was a very satisfied patient, and she was a very cooperative patient as well, who understood everything that we explained to her very easily. So the time was really worth it. Uh, Dr. Karthik, people go and pay everywhere, but somehow I feel when it comes to doctors, and especially something like cosmetic procedure, which is completely elective, I can't believe that patients still refuse to come and give the due to the doctor. So I think you know better about this patient who refused to, pay the fees right from the beginning till the end, even for small things. It's very trivial, but it is very, difficult for us at this point of time to, see all these things.
Actually, it's so true only. Even yesterday, I took my mother to our cataract and eye doctor. So that time also, I observed after the whole procedures only they asking us to pay, and there is a discussion happening. One patient hasn't paid, he hasn't paid and left the thing. We called him, he's cutting the call. Like that, even the staffs are talking in the ophthalmology center. And some centers they ask the money upfront and then they take them for a surgery. It's actually a less riskier than doing it this way. But some centers we do like that. But this patient, I get really annoyed when the patient goes down and fighting with the front office people for paying 150 rupees for the cherry strips, the plaster what we provide them. So he says, I want to talk to the doctor before I pay the money to you. Like that, he's talking in the front office. So when you see, so many years of my practice, nobody borrowed or bargained like this for this plaster. Okay, I was really annoyed and I was little, rude with the patient. Then he also upset because when I annoyed and I was rude, the other person also become upset. It's very natural, right? So he went back and sent a message. Why he asked like that? Then I feel really bad because it's my mistake only. I should not be rude with the patient because it's my mistake. The mistake what happened is when he came for a surgery for his wife's surgery, we quoted 45,000 rupees. But I want to do the initial plan is we do it in our own center, but I want to do it in a little more better way. So I took her to the theater, operation theater, which involves other 5,000-6,000 rupees extra.
This was just for her convenience, right? To give her the best result.
Yeah, for her convenience as well as for our convenience. It's it's easier to do it in everybody's all the theater boys and everybody will be there. So that time
ultimately,
yeah. See, my idea is within 45,000, I want to finish everything. But our staffs, what they have did is they have put another 5,000 extra and asked him for the money. Then that time he wants to talk with me and then pay the bill. That time I told, oh, it's wrong only. They are charging you extra. Reduce the 5,000 and pay. So that happened there. So he is in the impression that okay, this might be also a mistake. Let us ask doctor and pay. But for me, inside, few other things are there. The patient came very late for the surgery. We all, came very early in the morning and we are waiting for the patient. The patient hasn't turned up. Almost 1 hour late, they came and we are all waiting for the patient. That irritation also was in my mind. And added to this, and all those things makes me speak rude in the patient. Usually, I'm not that kind of a person, but I was a little rude that patient because of the back of my mind, all the irritations were there. So then I sent an apology message saying that really sorry, it's my mistake only. I misunderstood your idea of asking me. Please accept my apology like that. I sent a message to him. I feel that nothing wrong in doing a mistake is common, but I think we have to apologize if we feel that it's wrong. So Yes, other factor, a lot of people cheat and go also. That's also there. But this is a different story actually.
Yeah, if we realize our mistake at any point of time, though, as human beings and as well as doctors, especially because we are dealing with the lives of patients, it's important that we apologize and tell what has gone wrong. But it's also important that patients acknowledge the work that we are doing and give us the due, that they are supposed to pay. Let it be in the form of paying or let it be in the form of respecting and coming early for surgery. Each of it is the due that they have to give us. Even if they come early, they're actually respecting the time that we are giving them and the time that the staff is also giving them. Um, Talking about surgeries, so we deal with a lot of range of patients, right from young children who come for gynecomastia correction to elderly. So we had a very interesting 17-year-old boy who came for gynecomastia correction. So as we start our day early, we came around 5:30 that day, and me and Dr. Karthik were alarmed to see that there were so many people in the waiting area. So we were wondering whether we are doing actually 2 cases that day or we're doing more than that. We realized that it was one of our patients, a 17-year-old boy who had to go through gynecomastia. He brought his entire family. It's actually not his fault. It was his family that was very interested. So then we had Dr. Karthik, explain to them about COVID and not being so safe that they all come. So Dr. Karthik, your comments on this, please.
That's so, see, not only during the COVID season, any kind of a surgery, bringing the whole family to the hospital is really a bad thing. Even I used to see the people bring young children to the hospital during the surgery time. Like all the time, you have to understand, hospital is not a clean place. It's an infected place. Like a lot of patients with infection come in this COVID time. Patients with COVID will come. Like even without that knowledge, they think it's a fever and come to the hospital, ending up in COVID. So a lot of things are there. So never go to the hospital unnecessarily. I do understand. Grandmother is so worried about the grandchild, so she wants to accompany the kid. But still, the the first case what we have discussed, whole family got affected with COVID. Okay, so we should not want other person to go through those kind of a things. So we make them understand. Then grandmother left the hospital, and then mother also. I asked mother to go back to the home and come back in the evening when they're getting discharged. So finally, father only stayed with the son and got the surgery over. So never visit the hospital unnecessarily. And one other surgery where like most of the people wanting to come is the delivery. Everybody wanting to see the kids, so everybody wants to go. It's a happy surgery. Yes, gynecomastia also happy surgery. Here they are delivering the baby and they are delivering the gland and the fat. So happy surgery only, but still unnecessary visiting the hospital should be avoided.
Patients and their attendants are bound to be anxious. So they are going to come, but it's, I think, our responsibility to educate them, especially at this time, that you try and keep at least only one attendee to the patient for the requirements. The rest can stay at home and be at peace, or at least be safe.
You remember this patient? Some peculiar about this particular patient?
Yes, the post of Dr. Karthik.
Yeah.
So I've never seen anybody like him. Most of the patients, we tell them turn their face off when there's an injection being given, or when we're doing a small procedure under local, we tell them don't look at the point where we're injecting, because you'll get more anxious, you'll feel the pain more. But this boy was very adamant. He said that unless he doesn't see, he cannot, he will be more apprehensive if he doesn't see. So he has to see the injection. And he was so boldly seeing the area where we were injecting or aspirating some fluid which was collected in his chest. So, and he did not faint. Most of the patients, when they see such kind of procedures, they faint and fall. But this boy was very bold. So, a very, very interesting 17-year-old for me this week. And I think for you as well, because you, I think, operated on many such young cases, right?
Correct. They, like sometimes young kids are really bold than like the little older people. They see, but only thing what I realized is you have to explain to them properly. They want the truth. Okay, most of our teenage boys when they're coming for the procedure, I tell them a small injection we are going to give. It hurts a little. We'll make sure that we don't give the we make sure that it won't hurt that much, and we'll make sure that it is very comfortable to you. Like that, you make them understand. Sometimes I tell them, I know you're a bold person. Yes, sir, I'm very bold. That's what they immediately tell. So from there you take it whole thing. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Karthik, I'm sure you even did a gold medal in your DNB plastic surgery. So, what is the best gift that your parents have given you for acquiring something nice?
I think that my best gift, what I got from my parents, is my liposuction machine. As soon as I cleared my
Okay.
our plastic surgery the degree, so they gifted me that liposuction machine where I know like from there my journey starts with the micro air machine and holding it every day almost last 12 years, right? Yeah, from 2009 onwards, I'm holding that machine. So yes, we bought three new machines afterwards, but still, that is the best gift they give to me in my career. So this is a very interesting patient actually. The gift what she received, she lost 20 kgs by diet and exercise. So she always feel bad about her nose, and her father said, "I'll give you a gift. You go and correct your nose by surgery or whatever. I am really happy to give you that gift from my side." So it's really rare to see this kind of a gift from the parents. And she is also a very positive person. And you don't believe why she wants to definitely go through the surgery with us or the procedure with us is because when she lost her way to the clinic, our staff, Vasumati, our patient coordinator, Vasumati, what she did it, 20 minutes she was guiding the patient patiently to reach the hospital. So she clearly said, I have to appreciate that person. 20 minutes she was proper, like without any kind of irritation, she is guiding me properly to reach the hospital. So you guys have a very wonderful team. Whatever it is, I'm going to go. This is what very important. From the person who attending the phone to the front office to the doctor to the post-operative care system, everybody's role is very important for making the patient comfortable. So actually, this patient underwent. I suggested her to go for the filler alone because like for various reasons. So she underwent a nose filler treatment with us, and she's extremely happy. Even wrote a review few days back, and she said she's also a writer. Also, she's going to release a book soon. So hoping to see her book very soon in our library.
Yes, we have a very lovely team, and if our day goes very smoothly, be it in the operation theatre or OPD, it's because of the team which is working round the clock. And Vasu and as well as the rest of the team needs that appreciation. And I'm so glad this patient could, recognize that and specifically mention and thank her. Doctors make bad patients. This is a known fact. All doctors know this, and this is a well-known saying. And Dr. Karthik will elaborate more why are we talking about this right now?
See that actually even I am the worst patient, no doubt about it. When we know something, see other specialty things we know very little. For example, if I took my mother to the hospital yesterday to ophthalmologist, I'll just surrender myself. Doctor, I don't know anything about ophthalmology. You tell me what is best for her, I'll go with it. You want to select this lens for cataract surgery or whatever, I just surrender to them because they are better people. But the problem happens sometimes, even when patient comes to me and they keep talking, doctors coming to me and talking about, about this procedure, that procedure, advantage, disadvantage. First, I tell them, please, you forget that you're a doctor for till the procedure over and till you recover. Because you have to behave like a lay person, and whatever small things happen, you have to inform me. Never think that you know everything. The problem is doctors doesn't know anything in our field because ours is a very specialized thing. Even like plastic surgeons dealing with the cosmetic surgery patients every day, our experience and our knowledge about this is different. Okay, even if I do a reconstruction, my knowledge about reconstruction will be more than anything. Okay, so obviously the procedure what we are doing, we have better knowledge. Okay, so today one annoying patient, he's orthopedic PG, and he postgraduate, he asked for a gynecomastia surgery, and when he was a little confused, and I told, okay, you first decide the procedure and come. After some time, he himself came and asked for the circumcision also along with that gynecomastia surgery. He said, okay, we can do those things. So Suddenly he said, the hospital where we are operating, I don't like the hospital. You do it in other places. Like that he told. I told, even I got operated twice in the hospital. My son got operated. I know the standard of the hospital. I have worked in other corporate hospitals also. I know that standards also. It's anywhere not lesser than that. Like that I explained him. Then he got convinced, and he finished all the blood work and everything. Today morning he's supposed to come for the surgery along with, see, this month we have a lot of surgery, so every day we have to plan, because 3-4 surgery means we have to plan so early, so we have to come at 5:30 in the morning, we have to do all the surgery, then we have to do our OPs. So he was willing to come for the surgery till yesterday night. He said yes, everything is over. Morning he hasn't turned for the surgery. Then we called, the sisters called and asked, oh, what happened. He said, I don't want to come today, I'll come some other time. He's a doctor. Understand? Sometimes very difficult to, like we get really irritated only, like, see, he has to manage the same thing later date, because he is going to operate on the patients. He has to see this kind of a patient, like how it irritates them. Otherwise, tell us upfront, like yesterday itself he told, even
You have told us before.
yeah, we should have come little later. We should have slept another 1 hour and come to the surgery little later. Like they're all very irresponsible. The young kids like him, like they have to change. It's not that, see, when we organize a surgery, almost 7-8 people's works are involved here. The technician has to come early, or pregnant sister has to get up early and come for the surgery. Lot of things are involved. So they have to inform us well in advance so that it's easy for us. So doctors, when you're coming to us, forget that you're a doctor first. See, a lot of good people are there. We have treated them. A lot of, it's not, they don't understand the implication of this thing. So that's what I'm trying to tell here. So please come on time, even if you're a doctor, and try to understand, try to follow whatever we are saying. Don't apply your medical knowledge here. Your knowledge is different from what we have our experience, and whatever we are saying, just follow it.
Yeah, don't modify the treatment or the post-op. That is very important. Most of them modify the post-op sequelae. So that they are not supposed to do. So like we said, Dr. Karthik, not only just paying the doctors their fees is it's paying them the due. Even respecting us and respecting our work by coming early, by listening to our advice, that is also the due that the patient should be giving us, be it a doctor patient or be it a normal patient. Now, most in our field, I think we get exposed to a lot of patients with body dysmorphic disorder, and it's important to identify it early. Now, this week we had a patient, we have operated on her before, and now she comes for a resurgery. And that's when we start realizing that she has certain features or indicators pointing towards body dysmorphic disorder. So, Dr. Karthik, I would like you to elaborate on this factor, because it's very helpful for young plastic surgeons. They need to know how to pick up these signs.
Correct. See, this patient, we did a liposuction in multiple areas, and she's happy. And actually, she had a lot of other mild complications in the post-surgery. She had a fever, uncontrolled, and since fever is not coming down, that during the COVID time also we operated. We are confused whether it's COVID or not. So, but everything settled and she's fine. And she came back with a mild touch-ups. See, any surgeries, that's what I always tell my patients. If you expect the improvement, see, I can promise you that 60 to 70% improvement will be there. But reaching the 100% of your expectations might not happen in a lot of times, So if you expect 70% of the improvement, definitely you will be happy. Don't over expect. Actually, she's otherwise fine. Yes, I can. She came back with the mild touch-ups. Okay, so say she will say inner thigh is little bigger, so she wants to correct the inner thigh, and some small lateral bulges that she wants to correct it. Last time we have not done the cough, because I normally don't want to do cough as much as possible unless it is really looking odd, because the deep vein thrombosis complication is always there. I'm wanting to avoid as much as possible. She said, no, I want to go for a cough also. Okay, that's fine. So we booked her for surgery, and she came back and started asking that, doctor, we did arm liposuction also. Can you see the arm here? It is not proper. It's a little bumpy here and there. Myself and Joyce were so confused, because it's perfectly looking arm. There is no issue at all. This is the major warning sign when you see a patient. When the patient says, not showing the normal looking structure and saying that something abnormal, that is a major warning sign. Okay, so you pick up. I was so confused. Uh, if you ask these kind of a things, we have to go through the histories also. Any childhood trauma, any body dysmorphic disorder symptoms earlier. How is a childhood, like that happy childhood or traumatized childhood, or any other obsessive compulsive behaviors. We have to speak with the mother and the father. A lot of things are involved here. So I told her, see, this should be your last surgery because the body dysmorphic disorder patients have a unique ability to convince us. Okay, they'll find out a fault such a way, put in such a way that we need to operate, kind of. So I'll tell them this is going to be a last surgery. I do my best. I know that I'm going to correct all those issues, but these are all normal looking things. Whatever you're asking, this is little abnormal. If it keep persisting and your thought process is around this area, you need to meet a psychologist and psychiatrist. They have to evaluate you in the future. And see, these kind of people, no, better to take a video video like consent, kind of. Okay, why you came for, what we are going to do. We understand that this should not be a repeated surgeries. This should be a last surgeries. All those things better to record it in a video so that they also know that they give video consent. They don't come back and ask for further surgeries. And even if they have the thought process, they come back, we can put them to a psychiatrist and make them that. See, the problem is these kind of a body dysmorphic disorder people's problems are really difficult, and they spoil the whole younger age with this kind of keep seeing them in the mirror and wanting to go for a surgery again and again. They spoil their whole life. So it's our duty to, as every plastic surgeon's duty, to make them understand what they're going through and make them go to a psychiatrist and get their things evaluated and then correct the issues, and putting them on some my medications will improve the symptoms much better, and they'll go back and concentrate in the work. So it's our duty actually. So pick up the BDD symptoms early and send it to a psychiatrist.
Dr. Karthik, this is for young plastic surgeons. The pointers, how to pick up body dysmorphic disorder. But with this patient also, one thing you notice is she refused to accept that she has this disorder. So for the benefit of the public, can you just tell in simple words what is body dysmorphic disorder and how do you identify for yourself whether you're a patient of body dysmorphic disorder?
See, we are upset about our looks. Everybody are upset about our looks in some areas. Okay, somebody nose, somebody mouth, somebody ears, whatever. If it upset you, say example, maybe every 15 days when sometimes you look at the mirror and feel bad about that particular body part or a particular body weight. Okay, that's very normal. These body dysmorphic disorder people, they spend almost 5 to 8 hours thinking about the same problem. Okay, it might be, like a hair. Some, I know that people with a little mild baldness, they worry so much about that hair fall. That worrying factors will increase the hair fall more. And same way, some people about nose, some people about breast, some people about the tummy. Like it keeps changing. But nose is the commonest thing. Usually, body dysmorphic disorder patients will come with. And even few plastic surgeons were killed by the body dysmorphic disorder patients because he was refused to operate by the plastic surgeon. So lot of things are there about the body dysmorphic disorder. If you keep spending more time, if you keep spending more time in front of the mirror and worried about particular part, please consult a psychiatrist and get it corrected. See, everybody are looking beautiful. Everybody are born with their own special way. Okay, trying to alter is not necessary. That that shows that you are not confident about yourself. Okay, sometimes abnormally looking things, for example, nose is deviated, or they look tired all the time, or the face looks very aged. These are all the very 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 good signs. You can definitely go for a plastic surgeon and get it corrected. But when you're abnormally thinking about this process, you need a psychiatrist evaluation.
Of the many things I've learned from you, but this is one actually nice thing that you mentioned just now, that you tell the patient that don't expect 100% result. If you achieve at least 70%, you should be happy. And this is something I think everybody should be telling patients. Don't tell them that I'll give you 100% results if it's 100% guarantee, because I don't think we are gods to guarantee 100% in anything. Um, Now coming to adherence to advice. So we had this one patient who's 31-year-old getting operated for gynecomastia and was detected hypertensive at this age. So it's quite strange, but however we picked it up early and before surgery we put the patient on the medication. But he did something very strange yesterday. Dr. Karthik, can you tell us about that?
So, see that nowadays what we see is a lot of young boys coming with obesity, and like they haven't picked up their hypertensive, they haven't picked up their diabetic. Like we see a lot of patients like this. So, see the next major problem after COVID should be you should have to the weight and that major that metabolic disorders only. So this boy, he was 135 or something, and he lost weight to 125. He was getting engaged in another 15 days, and when he wants to correct the gynecomastia surgery, and he has a grade 4 gynecomastia, almost like a female looking breast. So it actually our guys knows how difficult to correct the grade 4 gynecomastia. So the grade 4 gynecomastia correction surgery, he needs to come. We picked him up, picked the hypertensive tension early, and we put him on medicines also. But this guy hasn't took the medicine last night. We asked why. Okay, some lame excuses they are giving. People have to understand, when we put our effort and when we want to do a safe surgery, you need to follow all the instructions what we are giving you pre-operatively and post-operatively. We don't want any excuses, because a lot of, see, if any major complication happens, who will be the responsible? Doctors are responsible. We can't say you haven't followed the thing because of that it happened. Okay, we are responsible. We have to see if luckily the BP was like well controlled before surgery. We took him as a second surgery, and so we gave the antihypertension in the morning in sips of water. We controlled the BP, then took him for surgery. Okay, so so please take it serious. Though it's a cosmetic surgery, we'll make it simpler. But each surgery is a surgery. You have to give respect to the surgery. It's a major procedure. Even smallest cyst excision going to be supposed to be a major procedure. You have to take all the precautions, whatever you're telling. Otherwise, you end up in complications. So please follow the instructions properly. Please reduce your weight. Make yourself fit and healthy. We want a healthy India, healthy life. Follow the healthy lifestyle also. One question they asked Dr. Joyce.
Dr. Karthik, I think we should thank our anesthetists, because elsewhere, I think if you find a hypertensive patient on the day of surgery, they are ready to cancel and pack off. So we should thank our anesthetists, popularly known as Dr. TNS, for readily accepting this patient and stabilizing the BP and taking him up for surgery.
You saw
because
the BP?
Otherwise, it's a hassle for the patient.
You saw the BP on table today?
Sorry.
You saw the BP on
Yes.
table today? It's all at 120, 80 only. It's normal, like that's what my anesthetist is the best anesthetist I ever seen. Dr. Thirinjana Sambandam, TNS, we call it the TNS, and any complex cases, he make it very simpler and makes a surgeon more comfortable on the table, and recovery, that when he removes the tube, patient smile and get up. Okay, that kind of anesthesia my anesthetist gives. I always proud of him. Okay.
Yes, truly. This cinematic field is quite challenging, and people who are working in it go through a lot. We do give results to patients, but it cannot happen instantly. So we had one patient who came from the cinematic field who wanted a breast correction as well as a nose correction, and she wanted the results within no time, because she had some major appointment to go for. So, Dr. Karthik, how do you handle such kind of patients?
Okay. Hi, Satish. Satish, thanks for watching. And okay, a lot of our friends and our colleagues are here. Okay. So
thank you so much.
So see, when the patient comes with a hurry, like they have only 10 days time, I want to correct this, correct that. She wants the nose correction and the breast implant in 10 days time. She wants to fly back to some other country for some other program. So she wants to correct it. Okay. She herself said, no, I know that there is a filler, you do it, it will automatically, like 10 days I recover and go back. She heard something about the breast injections to increase the size. Okay, there is few injections was introduced long back. but everything was, banned because of a lot of complications. Okay, but she's insisting that I need to do that. Okay, so initially we have to make say I started explaining why you should not do it in 10 days time, why there is what happened to the injected people in the all over the world. See, in Mexico, the US, they don't do the injection, though they go to Mexico and get it done. The US surgeon get the case because the complicated that injection get complicated, infected, and they'll come back to US for the correction. So I made her understand why you should not go for it. Even I don't know if people here doing it or not, it's not safe to do it. So end of the day, your life is more important than anything else. So understand that I'm here, you're going to come back, so I'll do it in a relaxed way. Please don't be in a hurry to do it. And only we do a nose filler alone. She agreed and she understood. And she thanked me in Instagram saying that you made me realize that, okay, that hurry should not happen in any kind of a cosmetic surgical procedures. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, this field requires a lot of patience. Be it any form of surgery, there are a lot of things that post-op, the edema and all those changes keep occurring. So the results take time, and we also need to have patience. And patients also need to be explained that they have to take it slow in the post-op. Now coming to the last case to discuss this week. Again, it was a patient from the cinematic field. It was very shocking what we learned from her or what we got to know. First and foremost, when she walked into the OPD, she was a very bold girl, which is hats off, which is very good. But patients do come to us and ask us what we want to do for them or take our advice. But she exactly knew, or she was telling us what she wanted. So, Dr. Karthik, just tell us about this case and what did you think when she came in?
Yeah, see, the movie industry, actually we all change the fields and everything because of the privacy issues. Usually the people come to us, they read a lot in the internet and they understand a few things, they misunderstood few things. They asked the girl when she came, she asked for the chin implant, nose corrections, and she said my buccal fat pad is more. I want to remove the buccal fat pad, and I want to go for a chin implant. All those things she herself planned. Okay, yes, she kind of correct, but she doesn't have a buccal fat pad. We have to say them this is a masseter bulkiness which needs to be reduced. So, so we'll make them understand all those things, then we'll proceed with the surgery. Because what you read in the internet and what you understand is different from what we see and we tell you. So please give the respect to our decisions and diagnosis, because we know better than you in this field, because we read a lot and we experienced in the field a lot. So understand that. So, but the shocking thing about her is that after all those things, we usually take the history, any alcohol and smoking history. She says, I smoke, I drink every day. And we said that you have to stop smoking at least 3 weeks prior to the surgery, because we explained the complications related to smoking. And then he said, I can drink now, kind of, the 23-year girl, he can't quit the smoking or the drinking. And where we are heading towards, the problem with these girls is they get the money in a younger age. They spend a lot of money in these things. See, even I give you a lot of examples now in the sense. The people with the clean habits go in the industry for long than people with the bad habits. They'll easily wiped out in the crowd. If you smoke heavily, what happens is you look very older very soon. So compared to your counterpart who doesn't smoke. Okay, same way, over alcoholism lead on to a lot of your next day you will be hangover, you can't go to the work properly. Lot of things happen. So even the film industry, if you don't have a clean habits, do exercise regularly and make sure that you have a healthy thing. You can't go this. You'll be wiped up soon. Okay, you can't stand in the industry for long. Understand that. So please be respect your body, be healthy, and get rid of these unhealthy habits, and you will shine. This whole idea of the live program is to make our field familiar with the young plastic surgeons as well as our clients, and it's a diary for me also, as well as Dr. Joyce.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It's very nice to see so many joining us right now in the middle of the day. So thank you everyone. And this is just our attempt to, make you realize certain things about our field and educate you in the right way. So thank you so much for appreciating our effort and coming on live now. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Joyce, for hosting it.